Hey, it's Dan. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this is the final episode of the Jockey Club. I know, crazy, right? With that being said, I would still love to hear from you, members of the Let It Ride faithful. Hear your thoughts and opinions on the movie or anything else that's been said so far on this podcast. And if I get enough emails, I would still like to make a special episode and read your comments. If you've already sent me an email or a direct message on Twitter, it's probably going to be included. Now, if you want to be involved, send me an email. It's dan@moviemaker.com, and you can even send me a DM on Twitter. Yes, this is true. Slide right on into my DMs. They are open. I'm at _Dan_Delgado. Okay, let's do the show. Welcome to the Jockey Club, a podcast looking at the movie Let It Ride, one scene at a time. My name is Dan Delgado, and we're at historic Hialeah Park where one man is having the best day of his life.
I'm having a good day.
So come on in and hang out while we talk about this day and the greatest movie of all time, Let It Ride. Don't worry about that guy at the door. I've got you covered. You can even
take my seat to the Jockey Club.
Welcome to the Jockey Club. My name is Dan Delgado, and we are up to episode 31, which means that we are doing the 31st scene of Let It Ride. And really, it's the 31st scene according to me. This is the end of the movie. It is the final race. With me to discuss this scene is Eric Delgado, the person I saw Let It Ride with a million years ago. And, well, let's be honest, he's my brother. And if you're playing along at home, this is going to be from minute 119:28 until the end of the film. So now let's head on up to my usual table at the Jockey Club to discuss the wisdom of betting on a horse to show, accidentally spilling your beer, and the final scene of Let It Ride. We are heading to the finish line.
This is it.
This is it right here. After this one, there's no more. You're going to be okay with this?
What a glorious thing.
Yes.
In many ways.
In many ways?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to know, are you going to press me for a way?
In any way that you want to. Give me one way. Give me one way.
Oh, well, because I'll just tell you, as you probably would have guessed by now, I, rewatched the ending.
Of course.
For the first time in, probably, it's been so long. It might have been 2 months since I've seen it. But in rewatching it, I was just reassured as to why we're even doing this. It was so freaking wonderful.
Ah, okay. I like that.
It just ends gloriously. It's just got a glorious ending.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
right.
one good reason.
All right. And, if when you're watching it as closely as I've been watching it since I've been doing this, there's always things that I notice that maybe I noticed but never really thought about or don't remember unless I'm actually watching it, like little things, like little lines or whatever. And there was definitely some of that we're going to talk about here.
Okay.
All right. Good. So we're going to start where right after Trotter makes the bet and you get the Looney and Sid reaction to it on the rail, where Looney notices the odds drop and says, probably some coke dealer went nuts again.
Yes.
Which, I just love that line. It's so funny. I mean, if you want to add in the fact that it's in Miami in the 80s, then it's even better of a line, but it's just hilarious. Like, this is a regular occurrence over there. Oh, yeah, we know. Coke dealer.
It's kind of... It's good, really, because it's one of the last things I expect him to say, because he's in the know. And, we just had the scene where, he's, they can't believe that this would be the horse, right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. So this is the horse that it goes from what? 40 to 13? Is that what it goes? No.
It's 40 to 8.
To 8. It goes 40 to 8. Right. So if anybody's going to have a guess, like when he perks up I expect him to say something about Jay, but instead he has some random. Like now, he sounds like a guy completely not in the know, which makes it even funnier.
He
'Cause
is
he's so
completely
off
not
base.
in the know. Yes.
Yeah, he goes with this generic, like you said. This is exactly what you would expect anybody to say out there who saw that. He makes that remark. And so he's going to bring it around later when he lets us know, I guess, that he was lying low there for some reason. He was like saying it undercover. I don't know, like he didn't want to mess with the gods or something.
Well, he did. He doesn't want. Yeah, I guess he didn't want to put it out there. But then all of a sudden, it's out there for everybody, and everybody
Right.
knows it's the two. So
That's right. That's when he wants credit.
It is a little weird that at first Trotter comes out and then just tells everybody, "Yeah, I bet 20 on the favorite," and then secretly tells Vicky and
Yeah.
Looney,
Just Vicky and Looney.
just Vicky and Looney, my two close friends from the previous scenes. All right, this is what I did, and now everybody knows, and everyone's
Right.
all bananas about it.
Right.
All right, so one of the things that I always forget about is that right after those two make that little comment to each other, there's this shot of Cheeseburger, and not enough of Cheeseburger in the movie, as I like to say,
Oh no.
of,
Yeah.
him trying to walk up to the rail past Tony Longo, who grabs him by the chain and
Yes.
yanks him back until he
Yes.
pays him his buck or whatever it is.
Right. It's. I don't know if this guy's thinking of his own scenes. I don't know. But that's hilarious because, right, again, another thing you don't expect at this point, we're so stressed about what's going on, for goodness sake. And now you got Cheeseburger. Why? He just decides he's going to strut on in, too.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm VIP.
He's struts
He's
in
got all
everywhere, I'm sure.
He's got all that going on, right? And of course, as much coverage you would need if you're Tony Longo, he's doing a nice job. He's nailing the people that are trying to get past the gate.
Oh, yeah. No. He is
Right.
definitely, he has a job. He knows what
Right.
the job is. He makes
Right.
sure he does the job. Yes.
It's his own job.
It is. It's a job
I mean, don't you-
he invented by
Yes.
being large and
Right.
I mean really he's kind of a criminal, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. He's just there
Yes.
extorting people for money who want to get close to the rail. That's what he's doing.
It's very Tulsa King.
Yes, it's very much like Tulsa
I'm just
King.
going to
Yes.
come in here and invent a business just parasitically
Yes.
off of your business.
Yes.
And I don't know how it's unchecked, but it seems completely unchecked to the point where like people that are in the know come up and know the rates. Like,
Oh, yes.
Give me 2 and pay back after the 4th race.
Yes.
And that works. You know that you could do a layaway deal with them.
That's right. Yeah, you could just pay it off slowly. I wonder if there's
Right.
interest. I'm not sure. All right, so we also now get Evangeline's plan that she's going to bet all 200 of her dollars on Stargazer to show. What do you think of this bet, by the way? What do you think of this plan? She says it as though she's devised a genius plan. Like, I know how I'm going to salvage my day. I'm going to bet all of my money on a horse and to show.
Let me tell you, this is very authentic to me because it's her first day there.
Yes.
She's not stupid, but she's inexperienced.
Oh, yes.
And so I can tell you that I did this exact thing with the horses and with Highlight because I didn't have like a mentor or anything like that. I had somebody, bring me around to these things. But then you sort of, you think about experimenting, in particular, when you see like a long shot come in. Okay, so a long shot comes in and it pays $88 to win, and it pays $39 to place, and it pays $26 to show. So it pays 13 times your money if you bet it to show.
Hey, that's something.
That's a lot.
Right? This thought has crossed my mind, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
I should point out that at times when I've been in places to gamble and the show option was there, I thought, it's easier to get that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you've got to be betting the right ones in order for it to be worth, because sometimes it pays nothing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the idea... The idea of taking all your money on a horse to show, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just...
Right. No, well, that's an example, too, though, of her frustration at that point. What we know now in that moment, what we know, besides the time she's upset about that damn jockey falling off that damn horse, Sid, we know that it's been a rough day at this moment when she makes... Okay, so I'm guessing Sid may not be... Either he's having an off day or Sid's not very good at this. Because at this point, for her to exclaim that, it makes a whole lot of sense that, yes, whatever she brought along for fun, which I'm going to guess is probably less than $200.
Oh, well, if you remember, they're going to go to the ATM to come back and win back the money that she lost on Lord Byron.
Yes. So, but I don't think we ever know the amount.
No, we probably don't, but I'm going to guess that she's throwing way more into the hole. She's making that hole much bigger with this $200 bet.
I think that, she might have maybe had $60, $80. She was kicking it around.
I think so.
But now she's seeing that the $60 or $80, if she had done it correctly, maybe she'd have $300, $400 by now. She's super frustrated. It's the end of the day. It's the last race.
Yeah.
This sort of stupid proclamation all makes perfect sense. And so that's why it's hilarious and it's right on, right? Because, look, if I bet it on Stargazer, who's who knows? Let's just say he's 15 or 18 to 1. He's going to pay probably 7 or 8 to 1 to show. She's going to score, at least $1,000 on her $200 to show. So that's a great idea if it works.
Yeah.
And of course, you have the security of if it comes in first or second or third.
That's right. No.
You win.
That's the whole point of betting the show is that security of locking up 3 places. Yeah.
Right. That's how that becomes appealing. Yeah.
It does.
And I think I'll tell you, I think I've told you before, my save bet. I mean, this was honestly, this was a really good strategy back in the day. I used to go and bet on high legs, a lot. And let's just say I bet $40 in a game, right?
Okay.
And that $40 might hit me some trifectas. And if I hit the trifectas, I'm going to win like $600-$700 on my 40.
Okay.
So then what I would do on top of that is I'd bet another 20 on Joey, the best highlight player ever. I'd bet on him to show. And I'd bet like $20 on him. He'd pay like 2.5 to 1. It wasn't great.
Right.
Okay. But if everything else failed, it was the perfect hedge. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would put that in there and I'd score like 45, 48, $50 on him in the money.
Yeah.
And so if nothing else happened, I was only like maybe $8, $10 behind. So it was always right there.
Yeah.
Now those were in those early days when that show pool was big. That started to shrink and it went away. But after that, it wasn't good. The risk was he was so consistently in the money.
He was. Yeah.
He was like, I would say high 60%, maybe 70% of the time in the money back then. So my bet wasn't bad, and especially when I would look at, I wouldn't bet him every time. I'd look at the position he was in, or I'd look at the teammate.
Yeah,
That's the time he's going to be in the money. He pays 2.5 to 1. I'd go for my trifecta. I'd hit it or I wouldn't.
All right, so now we're going to go back to Trotter and Reardon. And Trotter, who was very cool when he placed the largest bet he's ever placed in his life, is suddenly starting to get anxious about it. And he starts talking about the positives of the day. Kind of like, all right, listen, if it doesn't work out, I still have this. So here are his positives. Let's rate his day, okay?
Yes.
I ate a lobster, had a few drinks, bought my wife a diamond necklace, settled Looney's tab,
big,
made new friends, Reardon, Vicky, and the ticket seller.
And the ticket seller.
You can't put a price tag on a day like that, can you? Or
sure,
Eric, can you?
About $2,200.
20.
Yeah, that's the price tag for that day.
Wow. Eric does not, by the way, everyone should know Eric does not value friendship very high.
No. With the ticket seller.
I know. The ticket seller.
And Reardon.
And Reardon. And Vicky. Come on.
Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them seem kind of fleeting. All of them. How's he going to maintain that friendship with Pam around?
Well, I get the feeling that all right, now, I don't want to speculate too much. But
yeah,
after winning,
yeah,
you would like to think that Trotter never goes back to the track again, perhaps. Like, perhaps he never sees any of these people again. But I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's
I don't know if I've ever thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's back the next... Like, here's the ideal situation, right? He's back in a week, but he's only betting $20. And that's all he does.
He's betting $20 on the favorite.
He's betting like $2 on each race and just hanging out and chatting with the guys. And that's enough to feel a little bit of the juice because he still has his winnings at home. His 12 years of rent has already been paid.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
You're 100% correct about this because this feeling that you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
The feeling where you can go there and you can bet a little bit and not feel any pressure and just, go with your little instincts. Yeah, let me throw this in there. And the only time this is going to happen is when you hit it big.
Yes.
That's the only time.
Yes.
So I've got examples of this like in the same day, okay, where... And the reason it's going to be, the reason it's going to happen in the same day is because I'm not letting it ride. Okay? At a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Look, put it this way. I maybe the most I ever went, and this is super rare, that I ever went to the establishment would be with something like $300. Okay. So that's the high number, okay? So more often I'm going to say it's probably closer to between 1 and 200. And so because of all that, if I ever break $1,000 in a day, that's going to slow everything down.
As well it should.
Right. And so at that point is when I've got that money, got it in my pocket, as far as because I don't have to rat hole a 5 or anything like, I'm not that out of control.
Yeah.
Right? So wherever I put it, it's safe. And so now I'm going to let myself play, with $80 or whatever for the rest of the night. And again, and I'm going to try and hit Cornell's, and I'm going to try and hit like exact trifectas, like exactly in a row.
How does that feel, though?
It feels amazing.
It feels amazing. To make those bets and not have to worry about winning or losing.
Yes,
it does.
Because you're not chasing. Right.
The chase The chase isn't a thing? The chase, does that not... Isn't that what you're looking for? Or you don't need that chase?
Yeah. Look, this is just me speaking, so I don't know if
Yes, just you.
Maybe you're right. I get what you're saying. No, I get where you're going, that maybe there should always be a chase. There wasn't always a chase for me. Like I said, I set goals. So when that $1,000 happened, no, I was on cloud 9. I didn't need to risk it.
Yeah.
And the risk was... There was something like there's a keeping score sort of thing for me that maybe isn't happening with other people, so that I could lose the rest of the night and be okay with that because I hit my $1,000. So yeah, I felt like a king when that would happen, and I'm gonna say 90+% of the time I never reached into the stash.
Okay.
There would be an occasion, right? Like now I've been through because here's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Your handicapper takes over. Okay. So when you're watching particularly highlight, you're seeing how stuff's going, and it's like, oh no, forget it. Baronio is winning this next one. Okay, no. I'm going after I need to put some money on this,
Okay.
But it doesn't become a thing where, I just have to bet, nothing like that.
Okay.
It's like, oh, opportunity. That would be the only reason to break the little code. So in the meantime, I'm sitting around like king shit, right? Just like, yeah, sure, drinks for everybody.
Yeah, I bet.
All that nonsense.
This sounds about right.
Grand right here, So when Jay, like in his example, he never gets there because he never stops.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting he might go home after that. It's the last race of the day?
Well, we're going to presume it's the last race of the day. It's the
guess
last
so.
race of the movie. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the last race of the day, per se.
It does, man.
It just feels like it. But
it certainly does. Yeah.
You certainly don't think that he's going to bet again that same day.
No.
Right.
That's why for sure
Yeah.
I feel like it is the last race of the day because, again, he gets like 586,000. Why stop? Why not go for $1 million if there was an opportunity? I know. No, I'm just saying the way he's the let it ride thing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes home. This is what I'm just playing it through with you.
Yeah.
He goes home, and then, the next time or the next, sure, he's going back. And you're right. He probably is going back with $100.
Yeah.
Which is going to cover his concessions and whatever else he, screwing around.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you pray to God that that's what continues to happen. And he stretches that $500,000 for many, many years.
Yes, I sure do. I hope he goes and makes some smart investments in the stock market or buys some very good property, some good real estate.
Buys his own cab,
Buys his own cab. Oh, my.
Right?
All right, so Trotter walks out into the grandstand to great applause. As soon as people see him, they're all cheering. Everybody at Hialeah Park knows who he is, knows what's going on. It's like, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Yes.
And at this point, as far as they're concerned, that's the guy who won $69,000. Not that's the guy who's bet $69,000 or $68,000 on the 2-horse. But he comes out, and this is where he announces, I bet 20 on the favorite, then tells Vicky and Looney that I put it all on the number 2, Hot to Trot. And Looney, one of his best lines, announces to everyone, what does he say, Eric?
He pissed it all away!
And everyone cheers for this, which is wonderful, because I think that's all what they want to hear. That he, that's what they want to know, that he made the bet. They don't want the win, they want the bet.
Yeah. Yes.
So Looney hands Trotter a nice beer.
Yes.
And Trotter announces as though he's the president of the United States or something. He's standing there holding the beer, and he says, "May the best horse win." Like a real jackass.
Right. A magnanimous jerk off.
Yes, exactly right. Yes. Okay.
Right?
All right. So the race starts, and Trotter is so excited, he throws the beer in Looney's face, which I always thought was something he did intentionally, like to be a jerk. But did you think you've always thought he was just so excited?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not until I've been rewatching it that I realized that I'm wrong about that.
Oh, okay.
I thought he just did it just to do it.
I think he's so... Okay, look, this needs to be talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, he's as calm as... I mean, he's James Dean making the bet.
Yeah, he is.
And then when the ticket seller tells him, like he's so anxious for him, or, he says something like, no, he says, I don't know how you could be so calm.
Yes.
And he says, it's because I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, look, obviously he's not trying to sell that. He feels that in that moment.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And I know you said then he changes, but this seems a little extreme. Like, what's happened to him? I'm buying into that. Like, oh my gosh, this sense of, like, this is again, the magic, the mysticism. I don't know what this is, but I love it.
Right. Yeah.
And then, like you said, he starts having that conversation where he's putting a price on the day that you can't put. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm still okay with that. Yeah. Because he's so optimistic there still. He's still like, this is a fantastic day. Okay. But then you see this, this like panic starts to take over.
Yes.
And I think that he's so panicked in that moment that you're talking about that when the bell goes off, the gate, they open, he's like startled. And that's why it happens. It just flies up because he's startled. And that only happens when you're tiptoeing around, you're doing something you shouldn't be, that feeling of like, and then all of a sudden somebody, he has that moment. So I'm kind of like, wait, this seems a little almost hypocritical to me. What the hell did I miss here? They don't show you a moment where like some realism sets in. Somebody says something to him that changes how he feels.
Right.
He just flips.
It's the pressure of the bet is getting to him. He's starting to
Right.
realize, oh my God, I took $69,000 and I bet it on a horse just simply
Right.
because of its name and that it looked at me and that it winked at me.
Yes.
This is my reasoning for doing this. I think all of that reality is hitting him in that moment. And
You're right.
and he's, I can't take it back. I just have to suffer through this race. And
Yes.
the agony of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's no narrative to it, right? Like everything you just said is supposed by you, and it's right. I think you're 100% right.
It's absolutely it is completely implied in a way,
Yeah.
and I'm just
Yes.
that's just how I'm reading it. Yeah, they're
It
not
has to
telling
be
you
everything.
this. They're not
Yes.
explaining it to you. You're just
Right.
figuring it out.
Yeah, and since I'm backing Jay 100%,
Of course.
when he tells me it's because I'm gonna win,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, okay, let's go. I feel so much better in this moment. And then he flips and I'm like, oh no, wait a minute, we might lose? What have you done? Why didn't you tell me we might lose?
I remember thinking in this part of the movie, this
Yeah.
scene where he throws the beer in Looney's face, and then the two of them have this argument.
Yes.
And Trotter gets almost mean.
Yes.
I'm going to wring your chicken neck, right?
Yep.
All of that happens. And I
Yes.
start thinking, oh, he's ruining his magic. He's killing his mojo. This is how he's going to lose. Because movies like this, now it's so funny because I've talked to a number of horse playing dudes who told me, no, I always knew he was going to win in the end. Meanwhile, someone like myself who is not a horse playing guy was not sure of it and was always thinking he's got to lose at some point. There's got to be an end to the ride, and it has to be some sort of. I mean, now I look at it now and I think, yes, it's got to be some sort of like moralistic end about not being an insane gambler. Like this is what you can't take everything that you have and risk it. That's an insane, irresponsible thing to do. So I always thought he's going to lose, and this is where I really started to think that is how they're arguing back and forth.
Right.
Looney, who could not have seen the horses come out of the gate with the beer in his face,
Right.
still says, I think the two horse was limping coming out of the gate. And,
Yes.
Trotter promises he'll stop if he wins. And then Looney starts arguing with him about, hey, you promised to stop smoking before. And, you still did that. And, and it just gets unpleasant for a minute here.
Oh, look, I think these guys that are telling you that's super impressive that they felt that way. But I think that they're looking at this the wrong way. And I think that you and I are correct. And it's exactly kind of what you just said. And here's why, okay? Because this isn't real life gambling on horses. This is a movie about it. And so if it were a movie about something, about a true story, you might approach it differently. Like, I guess these people are saying, I always knew just because I've seen this moment before and I know what happens. I don't know why they're saying it. But like you said, I'll tell you exactly when I thought he's going to lose is when he says, I'll bet there was one time that you promised something and you went back on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I immediately think, what is that thing?
Right.
And it's when he's in the toilet in the bar and he says, just give me this one. This is it. Just let me win this one and I'll go home. He says that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this now? This is the $50 bet on charity.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, do me a favor, give me a break, whatever. He says it right there. I promise. And I had forgotten all about that. Like, it was so well done that when he brings it up, it hits me like a dagger.
Oh, wow.
The first time I see it.
Yeah.
Like, it hits me because I'm still hopeful, like maybe not, maybe not.
Right.
That's what I am now. But when he says that, I'm telling you, I felt like, oh my God, he is going to lose.
See?
My God, he is going to lose.
Yes.
And that is movie structure.
Yes.
That's not horse anything, right?
That's true.
So I think these guys that are telling you that,
Right.
I don't think they're looking at this the right way because this is written by movie people, right?
Well.
So, I mean, I know Jay
Cronley,
right?
he's a horse guy.
Right.
But yeah.
Of course. But I don't think it's written like, okay, this is, like from that deep of a perspective. So again, I don't even know, like if I had one of those guys in front of me, I would confront them on this and tell me like, okay, compare this to what we're telling you right now. How do you still feel that way? Because that's not some random remark. That's designed to freak us out when Looney says that. Right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
oh my gosh, I wanted to like I don't know what I wanted to leave. I felt so
because you didn't want to watch him lose if that's how it was going to go. Yeah.
Yes. That's why it was so freaking genius to do that, man. So genius. Oh my goodness. So go ahead.
So from here, we're going to now just get a lot of different things going on. And I love this. I love how this movie ends, right? We get a shot of Sid who looks to the heavens and says, "Keep her horse out of the money. I swear I'll give up my smut collection."
This is fantastic stuff.
Yes, it is. Because how impressive is your smut collection if you have to swear to give it up?
Right. There's that. But you tell me, like you just said, he says keep her horse out of the money.
Out of the money. Yes.
He wants her to lose.
Yes, because he sees what she's becoming, and he's scared of it. He does not want her to become what he is and what all his friends are.
He loves Evangeline. He loves her.
He does.
Yes, this is such a, like, I almost thought many times that I don't hear this correctly because I'm thinking he must be rooting for her, like maybe they worded it wrong. Like it doesn't, like the first couple of times, I don't know, it doesn't come clear for me. Like we've never seen Sid have any kind of opinion like this.
Well, all right, so you got to go back to the scene where she's upset about losing that race. Sid is a little he's very quiet, but you could tell that he's a little shocked by her attitude about how invested she is and how she's now saying, we're going to the ATM and we're going to come, I'm going to pull out some money and we're going to come back. And you could tell he's thinking, oh, wow, I don't know what's happening here. But
nice.
This track has devoured another soul right in front of me. And this is terrible.
Okay. Well, that lines up. I mean, I guess in that scene, I'm more focused on her, of course. But yeah, I mean, it does in this movie where it's like it can be a little cynical, these characters.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That moment is, and it's so fleeting, it's right in the middle of the race. We don't even have time to really consider it at that time. He's just quickly, of course, talking to God again, right? Yeah. Who else is he talking to, right?
Of course, that's
it. Right up. Keep her out of the money. Yes, that's just it's just a brilliant move right there, that moment.
Well, what I love about, there's a bunch of these, right? Now we're going to get Vicky, and she's looking up. I'll leave Bernie. Pure love from now on. I'll go for some guy with nothing. So, listen, if Trotter's horse wins, I will leave Bernie, and I will go for pure love. And, of course, she looks over at Looney.
Yes.
Who looks back with this really hysterical look on his face.
Like all of a sudden Looney gets it.
Yeah. And it is the sort of thing where you go, does Looney really deserve Vicky? I don't know about this.
Oh my
god! There's a part of me where I'm like, like it's funny. The whole bit is funny, but
you could never convince me,
right? How long?
Yeah.
How long does Vicky stay with Looney?
No.
A week?
No, right. This is not the guy. Yeah. No matter what brought them together,
right?
Even if it's like that moment in Speed, where like where Keanu Reeves saves Sandra. Even if it was something like that. Hey. Excuse me 1 second.
Would you like to drink, sir?
Yeah, I'll have the. Have you had the shrimp here?
Oh no, is it good?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you want to share it?
Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna get a. Yeah, can I get the cocktail shrimp? Yeah, the big one.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so what was I saying?
You were saying you were making a comparison to Speed, the pressure relationship.
Right. So even if that brings something like that brings them together, there's no way, because Looney might be the biggest loser I've ever seen.
Oh, he's got to live in filth. As soon as she gets there, she's as soon as she sees it, whatever hovel, as you put it, he lives in.
Right.
She's going to be immediately regretting this decision.
Yeah, and look, he's not fixed in any way. Okay, we've settled his tab.
Yeah.
That's it. Right?
That's it.
He's
That's
still
it.
a horrible, not only a compulsive gambler, but he's a self-loathing compulsive gambler with nothing, no skills. Because even some compulsive gamblers have skills, right?
True.
So they have some good days. Yeah. This guy has no good days.
None.
Right?
None.
They go back. They got to go flipping back in the book to the last time. What was it? $10, right? That he had a winner.
$22 3 years ago.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of reasons. If she picks this guy, no way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's such a fail. Please keep looking. Keep circling the camera at that point.
All right, now we're gonna go to Evangeline,
who
looks up and says, "Let him have it. I don't care about the $200." And then when she says this, Sid asks her to marry him.
Yes, that's where it wraps up for me. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so then we have Lufkin, who's watching nervously.
Yes.
Throws his cigarette on the floor, and instead it hits Johnny Casino's shoes. Where did you get them? A carpet sale? And the shoes go up in flames, and he's just like hot-footing it out of the...
Yes.
He's just like jumping around. Everyone leaves. It's hysterical.
I always think at that scene about how it's probably the biggest stunt in the movie. And
yeah, I guess other than the horse races, yes.
When you watch it, the crowd is as close as they can be.
That's true.
They've got him surrounded by like 300 or 400 people, and you're gonna light some guy's feet on fire.
They are.
I just think about. I don't know why it takes me out of that moment, but I think it's because it's one of those. This is probably what it is. It's one of those crane shots where you really haven't seen that in the movie. Mm-hmm. And so it looks like it's probably the safest shot that you can take. And because of that, it's a little inconsistent from what we've been seeing. And that makes me think about direction in that scene.
Yeah. Because and it is all of a sudden, his shoes are on fire, and then he's he was kind of on the rail, and now he's back away from it, jumping around.
Yes.
Right? And the crowd has already moved away from him. Right? Yeah.
Right.
So that does
really
happen.
Good. Yeah, it's the best you can do, and it's really good. But it just makes me think about the construction of it while it's happening. It's hilarious, though, because he's jumping around like an idiot, and it might even be Richard Edson. I don't know. But
that's doing it. It looks like him.
Yeah, I know. It does look like him. And you think, I don't know, maybe. I mean, because it was a pretty good fire going on those feet.
It is.
It wasn't just some little...
I know,
a little hot foot.
They'd be CGIing at these days.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. The ticket seller is watching and actively rooting for Trotter, rooting for number 2. We get Lufkin saying, "Give that punk a break." Vibes gets a vibe in the middle of the race. It's the 2, and then starts rooting for the 2. Now, I personally believe he's only rooting for the 2 because he wants to be right. I don't think he's rooting for Trotter. He gets a vibe that it's going to happen, right? That's how he operates. Whether you believe him or not, head tilts back, and he's going to think about it. He's going to find the vibe that's out there, pull it into his brain, and then this is what it is.
He'll be moving along like a son of a bitch.
It's the 2. Now he's rooting for the 2.
If I haven't said this before,
tell me.
It bears saying.
Yes.
Vibes is my least favorite character.
Why is Vibes your least favorite character?
And he's easily my least favorite character.
Tell me why.
Yeah. He's got he's got a homeless kind of unseemly kind of look to him. Okay. His name is Vibes. Okay. So that, I'll just tell you the word vibes, my synesthesia kind of stuff.
Oh. Well,
it's a huge turnoff, that word.
Would it make you feel better if I told you he has a last name? If you read the script, it's Vibes Eberhard.
Is it with a B?
Yeah, Eber, yeah.
Eberhard, and then a D, DT?
Yeah, Eberhard.
Yeah, that's not helping.
Didn't think so. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, so, there's words that names make me uncomfortable. It's weird.
All right.
But anyway, but then his whole... It's obvious because he's so sort of homeless looking whatever he's telling us, give me a break. You're not successful, okay? He's going around, he's giving up, like, here's the secret sauce, to Jay,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Dude, show me your stats, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Why are you hanging out in the loser bar?
Okay. All right. So just to go with you for a little bit here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Vibes does one of the lowest things in the movie when Jay is getting arrested and
Yes.
and he sees Vibes and
Never seen this.
And yeah, Vibes will not help him out. I've never seen this man before.
I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Right. Again, that's not helping.
But
yeah, that might have been when I decided it. I don't know.
All right.
Now that you bring that up. Yeah.
So, do
Yeah.
you think I'm right in suggesting that Vibe starts rooting for the two only because he wants his vibe to be right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And it is ridiculous that that's what's happening. Because obviously, I'm guessing he bet on something else. Like, either he didn't bet or he bet on something else.
That's correct. Yes.
Right?
For sure.
So, and who knows, for all we know, maybe he's Howard Hughes, right? He goes there, he's got millions of dollars secretly,
Yeah.
he dresses like a bum, and then he bets $1 every race, like maybe this is just his stupid thing. But, so maybe his bet was, dismissible at that moment. But for whatever reason, I hate that also he's like fervently rooting too, like, come on, he's like smacking the program, come on, two. What are you talking? There's like 8 seconds left in the race. What are you doing now? Now you're rooting for the two because it floated by. I want to punch him in the face. I hate Vibes.
Okay, so now we're down the stretch
Yeah.
and the chimes of destiny come in
Yeah.
and Trotter, suddenly, manic, insane Trotter
Yes.
becomes that guy who made the bet. He becomes Zen, right? And he says, I got it. That's what he
Right.
says as that horse is passing.
Yes.
I got it.
And when it happens,
Yeah.
the other horse actually, right at that split second,
Yeah.
that other horse has the edge.
It does. Yes.
Yep. Like right then is again where I'm going, oh my gosh, we're going to lose by this much.
Yeah, because there's two
And
horses.
he
I should
says-
mention that there's two horses coming down the stretch that are neck and neck.
Yes. It's as neck and neck as
Hot to
possible.
Trot is a nose behind.
Yes.
And when Trotter declares, I got it.
Yes. Right. And it's almost, gosh, what's the word for that? Like his voice, like his voice is almost coming like from off screen, right? Like I don't know what they've done there, but they've clouded it,
Yeah.
I don't even know what they've done, but you hear him almost like angelically. It's like, I got it.
Yes.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's as though he's having this out of body moment.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the horses they cross the finish line, all right. Another joke I always forget is another cheeseburger
boy.
joke. Mm-hmm. At the wire, it's my God, and Cheeseburger says, "Where did my God come from?"
Yeah, that's so great.
That's hysterical.
That's so great. Right.
And so now Trotter is just muttering to himself, "I knew it." This is where I got it becomes I knew it. Mm-hmm. And now, and we're still having these chimes, this mysticism is
my
going
gosh,
on.
it's so
Everyone's
good.
talking, and it's not quite normal volume, right? Everyone's it's as though they're all speaking in a theater.
Yep.
Looney has to say, "Wouldn't it be something if that horse was disqualified for bumping or something?"
Right. 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 How are you hanging around? Who's hanging around with Looney?
Okay.
We just bet $70,000. You maroon. God,
I know. And really what gets me about Looney and in this scene and his exchange with Trotter, which gets heated and unpleasant, is that a couple of scenes earlier, Looney has pledged himself to Trotter. Right? I'm with you forever.
Right.
I will never forget this. Right?
You are the greatest man I've ever met or something like that.
Yes, who's ever lived, whatever it is. Yes, exactly. And he kind of has been a little bit, right? Since then, kind of walking with him, and it's like, oh, okay, this is how Looney is your friend. And I don't know. During this race, he's just the worst. Anyway. So in order to complete our day's not complete, Eric.
No.
Here's how the day becomes complete. It's not the win.
No.
I mean, that's just the final topper. But
Right.
Pam shows up out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
She descends into the scene.
Yeah, it's like she just, comes out of heaven and
Yes,
she's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like an angel.
Well, how she would know to find him in that moment on the rail, not at the Jockey Club, not at Marty's bar, but on the rail, surrounded by all those people. She finds him.
At that moment.
Yep. And she thanks him for the necklace. She's totally, everything is fine now. It's like everything is perfectly healed. And he tells her, I bet it all. And she says, it's okay. It's only money.
Yep.
All right, now.
Glorious, bro.
Yeah. Now, I almost feel as though the shot of Marty at the bar saying, let the little guy have it. Maybe that could have been moved a little bit before this scene. I don't know. Before this shot, maybe move that shot up a little bit.
Right. It elevates his character tremendously because of it.
Yes.
I agree. Like they give him the go ahead there.
Right. Like, and I don't know if I'm going to put that anywhere. Maybe that's where you would put the ticket seller with a moment like that.
You're right.
Right? And you'd put Marty where you have everybody else who's looking up and talking, like during that little bit. Yeah, so Marty at the end there's a little odd for me, but that's not a problem. And so anyway, the two wins, and Trotter is just like nothing is happening. Everyone is cheering around him. Pam wants to know, what are they cheering for? Why are they cheering, Eric?
I'm having a very good day.
Yes.
I mean,
that's it.
and he says it right, like he knew it all along.
Yes.
I mean, this is the greatest moment of that man's life.
It is.
And that is how he handles it right there, just with such aplomb.
Yeah, you couldn't handle it better. For as poorly as he's handled so many other things throughout the day, right?
Yes.
Right? In this moment where this is the climax to everything, he's achieved the highest that he can achieve. He is as cool as you could possibly be.
Right.
I would not, there's no way, not in this lifetime would I be this cool, right?
You're right. And that's, again, why the end. I mean, they hit so many notes that I wouldn't have even thought of at this ending. And it's crazy how fantastic this movie is. It really is when you go scene by scene like we've done. How they nail so many things. There's so many unexpected things. And here, right, with this, fairy tale happy ending, which most of the time when you get one of those, they even call it like saccharine sweet. Like, we look at this, skeptically for the most part. Oh, great. Another great happy ending. Whoop-de-doo. But this one, like the way it hits you, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, right. I was so thankful because of, again, the way they had ripped it away from me. And then they give it back.
They sowed those seeds of doubt in you.
Yeah. And
That's
when you see the last glimpse of them crossing the finish line, he's losing.
Yeah. You can't, and there's no way you're looking at it. Just if you're just, you don't know what's going on and you're looking, you're probably thinking the other horse wins.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And so we've got the photo.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously we're waiting through the photo.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm just thinking about what I saw, and I saw him lose. So I'm feeling like awful, but then Jay, like you said, is telling me I knew it. I'm like, you knew? Wait a minute, you knew it? What? And then the crowd, at the same time they say the two. You could barely, it's almost like the way Rocky ends. Yeah. Because he's talking to Adrian, right?
Yeah.
And it's all, I love you. And the winner for Creed. You hear it, but it's like, at the same time, it looks like you almost think, did Rocky win?
Right.
Because the music's swelling and he's embracing her. You just barely hear for Creed.
Yeah.
And here it's the same thing. Number two. So, oh man, yeah. I don't know.
And then the movie has the good sense to end right there, and does not give us anything else. You've had everything you want. This is it. That's it. Now go home. Feel
Now go
better.
home.
Now
Now
feel.
go home.
That's it. You've had
But
enough.
we're going to remind you
Now-
that there comes a time when you've got to let it ride. In the song.
Yeah, in the song.
When you're tempting fate
All right. So
and you lay your money down.
I don't know what's happening here. All right. So just because some people like to wonder, it's 68,000 at 8-1 is $544,000.
Okay, right. 68,000 at 8-1.
Well,
Now,
yeah, at 8 to
yeah.
1.
Yeah, I think, he did bet exactly 68,000.
Well,
And-
that's what we're presuming is 68K, and however much he's got to pay the IRS, half of that, whatever.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if
Okay.
I want to get too deep into it, but nonetheless, that's
No, it's a
always
little,
the number.
but I'll tell you why I come up with like 568 or 586 is because what you have to figure
Yeah.
is that 8-1
Yeah.
pays something like 1860 or 1790. It doesn't pay $16 even.
Okay.
It always pays, and
and
there's
it's
a
always
formula
tick
for it.
up. It always ticks up.
Yeah, it always ticks up.
Okay.
It always ticks up, and it's always the same number. So when they put 8 up there, that's what it comes to, 1780, something
I
like
see.
that. So it is a little bit more. It's a couple dollars times.
So we could say 550. 550.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's more because I think I had figured it at some point. I think it was like 568.
568. That's the number you like.
Yeah, I like 568.
This is the number that's rolling out of your tongue.
$500,000
$500,000. I mean, yeah, that's really it.
minus one taxi cab.
Yeah,
and he's
you-
got $500,000.
Yeah, that's right. Is the movie never tells you how much he wins? You just like
Nope.
I honestly I thought maybe he was now a millionaire when I first saw that
Oh.
film. Right? It's not until
Right.
much later that no. It's way less than what you think it is.
Yeah, because you just see the odds click to 8 and, Looney references it. But if you're not, track guy, you're not putting all that together.
Absolutely not. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It
yeah.
just is, wow, what happens there? Lots of, and of course it was 40-1 when he bets it.
Yes.
Imagine if it stays there. And he says it too, right? That's how the formula is so good, is because the ticket seller says, "Oh, a bet like that's going to knock it down to 8-1."
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes. He has it down. Yeah.
He has it down.
Yeah. In the book, it knocks it down to 2-1, and it's like,
Ooh.
okay, that's significantly less interesting if he's winning a 2-1 bet as opposed to
Right.
an 8-1 bet.
Obviously, that's why they changed that. Because is that
Yeah.
even Is that even interesting?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly
It's
right.
the Lord Byron bet.
Yeah, maybe it's a more of a realistic bet, I suppose, or maybe that's where what Cronley was thinking. But
Yeah.
no bueno, man. That's
No.
not good for the drama.
Just think about, honestly, in that moment when he sells himself on the Lord Byron bet.
Yeah,
Well, $2,400 or $2,500 times 2 is $5,000. I'm like, "Ugh, that's what you're gonna do? I don't like your bet."
he sounds so confident and stupid
Right,
in that
like I do this
moment.
all the time. Well, it is $5,000.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
God. All
But,
right.
Of course, yeah. I'm thinking way differently. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we've come to the end of the scene, and
What?
the end of the movie. So
What?
that's right, and subsequently the end of this podcast series. So
Wow.
yeah. So Eric, is
That's
there
heavy.
anything else that you'd like to share as we wrap this up?
Whew.
Yeah, we're
Wow.
wrapping it up, baby, right now.
Wow.
We have come
Well,
to the
you've
finish
cut.
line ourselves.
Right. Well, as the kids like to say, you've taken me back.
Is that what
Even
they say?
though it's-
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to say taken me aback, but
about. Oh,
the kids, they don't know English anymore, so they just say taking me back.
wow. All right. So
But I've been
just
taken-
speaking for the kids, I would just like to say, okay, boomer.
You talking to me?
Well, I'm talking. Yes, I'm talking to you, actually.
Shut up. I'm no boomer. Unless you mean like Boomer Esiason, who went to the high school that I almost went to. So, okay. So, Yeah, this is, well, what a fantastic journey. Okay, look,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
I learned so much more about, okay, we both, let me just ask, how many times do you think you've seen it?
I don't know. I don't want to say something like 100 or 50.
Okay,
I
right.
realistic, maybe like 20, I think.
I was going to say 20.
Yeah,
There you
I'm going
go.
to say probably
Yep.
like 20. Now, I
Yep.
mean, I did watch a lot of it over this last year,
Yeah.
right? I didn't watch it
course.
straight through too many times, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I watched before I talked to you, right? And watching the scene, and I watched the scene
Yes.
before it, and I watched a little bit after, right? And try to keep it all together.
Yep.
So there's that. There's the way that I've
Yes.
watched it this year, which is not like I've ever watched any other movie before.
Well, if you recall, in the earliest days, 89, 90, 91, 92, in those days, it was like a must to watch it at least once a year. Like it was, we must sit down, must get people. I remember recruiting people. Look, you're going to come, you're going to watch this.
Yeah.
So like at least part of that IMDb, I feel somewhat responsible. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know, I got a few, come on, I got some sevens in there back in the day, some future sevens.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is the magic of it, is that going over during this format that we've had, I can't believe how much I learned, even though I would have told you, look, I've seen it I can tell you this movie backwards and forwards.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, same here. Absolutely.
And
Same
so
here.
I have to conclude that this movie is even more special for that reason, because it just keeps giving us. I mean,
Yeah.
these scenes that we've broken down, it's like, even in the discussion with us, I remember how many times you and I both had kind of like an aha moment,
Oh, yeah.
breaking down some of these things, even in the minutia, where we thought we watched it and this is what we're going to talk about, this is how we're going to talk, and we still said, whoa, wait a minute, think about this, think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's like, I got to give so much of that to Pitka and the efforts from all of these actors, because just think about how different of an experience that had to be for them working with a guy like him.
Oh, sure.
And to come up, I mean, honestly, I could totally do without Vibes, but there's not a character besides him that, okay, like let's say this became a show, right?
Oh, yeah, this could totally become a show, I'm sure.
Absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
And if it became a show, and let's just say they decided, well, okay, like they do most of the time with shows, we're gonna, consolidate it to only 6 or 7 of the characters. They're gonna leave off certain characters.
Okay.
Whoever they left off, no matter who they left off, you and I and people like us would have said, "What?
Yeah.
You left off that one?"
Right.
Like just name anybody, it would be anger. We'd be angered, right? And
That's
that just tells you like how each one of them in their little moments just nail everything.
Oh, that is what gets me, is that everybody, all the little characters are all so good in their tiny little parts, right? Had the Daily Double guy, the bathroom attendant, all those guys. Like, if I mention those guys, you instantly can picture them, and you know what their joke is. You know what their line is, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the movie is full of that.
If somehow in the show Jay goes to the bathroom at some point and we don't see the washroom attendant,
Yes.
we're going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I need
That's
that
right.
guy.
Yeah,
And
no,
it has
that guy needs to be
It
there.
better be that actor too.
Yeah, don't give me the TV equivalent of that guy.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure that guy probably would take a weekly television gig. That'd probably be good for him.
Oh, yeah,
But nonetheless,
absolutely. Right.
Don't give me some substitute version. Yes.
Kenneth McMillan or something.
Kenneth McMillan.
The TV's Charles Durning. Yeah. So, that's what I'm reconciling right now, is just what a success this idea was. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, it made this experience so much richer, and reaffirmed that it is the greatest film of all time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Jockey Club. This episode was hosted and produced by me, Dan Delgado. Thank you to my guest, Eric Delgado. This was Eric's 11th appearance on this podcast, so a big thank you to him. Our theme music was from Epidemic Sound. Our cover art is by Sean Labrie. If you enjoyed this episode and this series, and I'd like to think that you did, then you can help me out by buying me a coffee. Yep, that's right. It's a real thing that exists. There is a link in the show notes on how to do it. It's actually pretty simple. Some of you out there have already done it, and I want to thank you. There's also a link to get some Jockey Club merch and a link to get yourself the Let It Ride Blu-ray, just in case you haven't already done so. Now, if you're saving up all your pennies to bet on the 4-horse, I understand. You can still support the show by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you may be listening to this. You can contact me through email, dan@moviemaker.com. I'm at Twitter at _Dan_Delgado. And yes, I am on the Repod app, which is a great way to not only to listen to podcasts, but to interact with podcast hosts. Find it in your app store and come on by and say hello. Now, I also want to just toss out a few additional thank yous before I sign off. So, thank you to James David Patrick, who did 7 episodes on this podcast and also helped out with the merch designs. James was an absolute huge Let It Ride fan, and I was very fortunate to be able to run into him on Twitter and convince him to be roped into this little project with me. Also, Randy Ostrow, the Let It Ride producer, who came on months ago and has stayed in touch with me since then. Steve Bick, who first brought me on his Sirius XM radio show to talk about this podcast, and then did an episode with me a few weeks later. David Hill, who did an episode and was the one who told Steve Bick about this show. And then everybody else, Andrew Champagne, Richard Linehan, Rob Hunter, Noah Gittell, Jordan Brady, Dr. Sean Munger, Sean Bean, Eric Stoyer, and the very charming Cassidy Watson Perry. All great guests that I feel I was lucky to speak with, and they were all nice enough to give me their time. And of course, last but definitely not least, I want to thank all of you out there who are listening to my voice right now. I want to thank you all for listening to this ridiculous podcast. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing it, and I've loved being able to interact with some of you on Twitter. All right. This has been Dan Delgado for the Jockey Club. And remember, sometimes you could be walking around lucky and not even know it. All right, well, in a week, we come back and we start Hot to Trot with Bobcat Goldthwait. Just be ready for that.
Wait a minute. What about the, isn't there a Tim Conway and Don Knotts one?
Yes. There's The Long Shot.
All
right, we're going to do The Long Shot.